We have a special topic that we'd like to get into, and this is actually kind of in conversation with some of the other podcasts on the Social Suplex Network. So this past week, Trish and Sarah was last week. Trish and Sarah released an episode, really good. Go check it out. Just about some of the deficiencies of the media landscape in the IWC and just the lack of basic journalistic skills and integrity. This week we join them. And we join them and we say, do better. And we say, take a high school journalism class and learn how to cover a story. Now, you may ask why. Why are you saying that right now? Well, let's read you two little quotes here, okay? So we have a quote from Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful. It says, speaking with Fightful Sean Ross Sapp, Darby Allin said that Stephen Borden, Sting's son, former football player, was staying at his house and training to be a pro wrestler. That's so fun. He really enjoyed being in his dad's retirement match where he didn't go out on his back, and now he wants to do pro wrestling.
Love that.
Allin noted that Stephen was sleeping in a tent in his front yard.
Yeah. At that moment, you might have some questions.
I have a lot of questions.
I certainly do.
A lot of follow-up questions.
Sapp did not.
What is the next sentence here? Allin noted that Stephen had not thought about getting into wrestling. Hold up. Why are we talking about wrestling?
Can we go back to the tent?
Why are we back to talking about wrestling when we haven't even talked about the tent?
Why is nobody's next question, why a tent?
Why a tent? Is there no room in the house? Why the front yard? Is there no room in the backyard?
Is there a backyard?
Well, that's a great question. Explain the layout. How many people are staying at your house?
That's such a good question. Now, we also received a little bit more information about what might be happening at Darby Allin's house from the Voices of Wrestling Discord. And this is from Rich of Voices of Wrestling, who said Darby has several wrestlers living and training at his house. That's such good information.
Yeah, I have some follow-up questions. How many? Do they all stay there?
Well,
is there a selection process? Like,
right.
Who is at his house and how did they get there?
I know.
Yeah, do they pay him money for this?
Do they? Yeah, I know that you guys would love to know this. I know you'd love to. I'm sure it'll be answered in the next message.
Yeah.
I was told by someone that Darby has a bell or a whistle or something. Okay, and when he blows it or rings it or something, presumably, the two guys. Now it sounds like there are two, but it's like, are there only two or? Are there like two assigned per day? Right. Or is it just some of them get the whistle and some of them get the bell?
Oh, that's a great question. Maybe it is. Like, everyone has their own unique sound. We don't know.
When he blows or rings it, the two guys have to stop what they are doing, run to one of his wrestling rings, and
how many wrestling rings are there?
How many?
I'd love to know.
How many wrestlers? How many wrestling rings? How many beds are in the house? Are most of the wrestlers staying in the house, or are most of them also on tents on the lawn? How many tents are on the lawn?
Is there a tent city? Are there bunk beds in the house? How many rooms? How big is this house?
Are there roommates? Are they two to a room, one to a room? I also learned from a tweet from years ago.
Do people pay more to stay in the house than they do to stay in the tents?
At one point, Darby's brother, and this may still be happening, was living in the house breeding pugs. Is that still happening?
How many pugs are in the house?
Are the pugs training to be wrestlers?
Does each wrestler have an assigned pug who is his wrestling pug?
Does the pug also have to run to one of the rings when the bell or whistle or something is rung or whistled?
And are those rings man-sized or pug-sized?
Now, again, and basic high school journalists would ask some questions. There would be follow-up questions.
Let me very quickly, let me just say what the questions are, because it's actually really easy. You learn it day one. It's who, what, where, when, why, and if you're feeling frisky, how. Okay?
I'd love a little why. I'd love someone to hear Steve Borden is staying in a tent in Darby's front yard, and when a bell rings, he has to run to one of the wrestling rings. I'd love someone to have that information come out of Darby Allin's mouth and say, wait a second. Stop right there.
But this Fightful report has, barely made an impact. Everybody went, ha ha, that's funny. And then this Rich post in the Vow Discord got, multiple people were just like, ha, emoji.
Yeah. They didn't even act like it was funny. Someone was like, wait, why is he in a tent? And someone said, oh, probably a grind set thing. And then the whole group just moved on with their lives. How can you move on with your life with this knowledge in your mind?
When I tell you that this culture of disinterest sickens me, I cannot overstate how disturbed I am by the lack of basic curiosity about things that are inherently, clearly, extremely funny. You don't like to laugh. You don't
hear about men doing the strangest thing you've ever heard in your life, and you don't say, I'd love to know more details about that so I can laugh my head off.
Can somebody just find out how many tents are in the front yard and how many of them are filled with pugs? It's an easy question.
How many pugs? How many men? Why? Where are the men coming from? How do they get there? How are they chosen? What are they learning?
It sounds like some of them were already there before Sting sent his large adult son there. So, like, how long has this been going on for? Like, is Steve's son, like,
do they need permits for this?
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, yeah. Darby surely doesn't have a tent permit.
I'll tell you, they don't have a permit for sure, but do they need one?
I don't know. I mean, a large adult son camping in your backyard is just like, if the officer shows up, it's like, front yard. It's like, well, that's my child. That's for my brother.
He's pretending he's camping. That's why he's out there.
Is he using the facilities is he showering in the house?
Great question.
Is he peeing
is he
in the
allowed
yard?
To?
Does he have bathroom access?
Allowed in the house?
Does Darby
is there just
do you have to
a
progress?
hose hooked up to the outside of the house and
is it part of the training? If you progress a certain amount in the ring, do you get some house privileges?
Is there an outdoor shower set up? Wow. Doubtful. But it could be just a hose in a bucket.
Hose in a bucket.
Is Sting's son hunting and cooking what he hunts over a fire? Or does
the neighbors are all like, there used to be a lot of squirrels around here, didn't there? I haven't seen one in years. They've all been eaten by prospective wrestlers.
And wrestlers are hungry and they need to build muscle. They need their squirrels and they need their steroids.
As all our listeners know, we have zero desire to ever speak to a wrestler, but nothing has pushed me more into should we be wrestling journalists space? Should we jump into Darby Allin's DMs? Yeah. Because that's the only way we can ever get more information about this with the utter failure of the IWC's journalists.
I haven't even ruled it out. We don't want it
either. We don't
want to be part of the story,
how is this gonna
go? We don't.
Excuse me, Mr. Darby. This is Leah from Tunnel Talk News. I just wanted to ask, I tried to Freedom of Information Act your permits, but I couldn't really find any hits. What kind of operation is this exactly?
What are these wrestlers doing here, sir? Okay. Anyway, look, we had more questions than answers, as you can tell. And we hear this, we start spinning in our heads. We think once we've moved past the initial shock and horror, that at the lack of basic journalistic abilities here.
And honestly, are wrestling journalists fully functional adults? They hear things like this and they're just like, yeah, sounds regular. It's not regular.
It's not regular.
It's not
Their
regular.
brains are broken. They were like, yeah, no, Darby told us all that information, but he didn't tell us who was going to win Anarchy in the Arena, so it was useless to me. Who gives
cares?
a shit?
Yeah.
Unless the winner of Anarchy in the Arena is going to pop out of a tent in the ring, I don't give a shit.
I don't give a single shit.
Anyway,
tell me about the Tent City.
Tell us about Tent City. We hear all of this, and then we immediately say, okay, well, this should be a TV show. TNT. Yeah. This should be a reality show.
Absolutely.
And it can be lo-fi. It can be grunge punk. It can be filmed on GoPros. There can be as I've said here, a single talking head camera in a shack in the yard. You need somewhere that they can go when they're feeling big feelings that you're going to get it on camera.
You call it a truth booth. They just go in there. They spout
they say
off
stuff. They say anything. They say
anything they want. Say anything you want about Darby and how he's treating you and how the tents are. I
think that as many as 20 AEW wrestlers should be going to Darby's wrestling summer camp for 4 weeks in the summer. Does that sound right? You could even do two-week shifts if you want. You could get 20 in, get them out, get 20 in again. Yeah. We, all over this great country of ours, that sucks. There are abandoned mansions. There are abandoned summer camps. They're in places nobody wants to go to. They do not cost much money. TNT, you're not spending it on anything. You're apparently not getting the NBA. We have billions at our disposal. We buy one of these spaces. Darby is running the camp. You get the wrestlers in there. They can bring a tent if they want. There might be cabins. It's a robust summer camp, okay? And we watch the show so we get to learn what they're doing to train. What is he doing with these men?
And you can have promo rooms. You can do our whole promo room system.
So many rooms.
And then you can have so many rings. And everyone, I think we've already happened upon a great system.
Rooms and rings.
Rooms and rings.
Rooms and rings.
Love to watch a little TNT show called Rooms and Rings.
And actually, you could, now this will be controversial, you could get kind of a dating element in there with the rings. There could be some kind of engagement at the end of camp. I don't know how you'd make it work, but that's something to consider. Okay.
I just picture Darby, like the wrestlers are all, at mess. They're at, sitting at tables. They're eating
family style.
Family style
Spaghetti.
Slop spaghetti.
The worst sauce you've ever had. Yep.
All of a sudden, Darby Allin appears. He's wearing his pink Taylor Momsen jacket.
In the middle of summer. But he doesn't get hot.
He rings a bell. Half the wrestlers,
or a whistle or something.
Or blows
half the wrestlers stand up and run towards one ring. Then he blows a whistle, and the other half run to the other ring.
Yeah,
I the belly
do
and
love
the whistle,
the idea of everyone having their assigned sound, and maybe every day you get a different one because you'll have a different opponent who you're going to spar with. And whenever you hear that whistle in that particular pattern, like Captain Von Trapp, everybody's got their own whistle that they know. And then they just stop whatever they're doing. They're at free swim, they're fishing, they're doing archery. They drop everything. They run to that ring.
When you said individualized sound, I did immediately go sideways and be like, like bird calls. So
I thought you were maybe thinking about a soundboard where it would be like morning DJ sound.
I mean, also that would work over the camp intercom. You get a little Casio keyboard. Yeah.
I also thought though, if you have that old camp, if you have that old intercom system, just the screech of the PA turning on, and then he could just say their names. He says, Dante, Isaiah. That's it. That could work too. I mean, there's so many ways that you could do this. And
imagine seeing all their little heads go up when the screech hits, and everyone at their activities.
Groundhogs.
Is it me?
Allie, please be serious though. How would the pugs know which? You need the sound.
You don't think pugs can learn their own names, Leah? You
not
sicken
over
me.
an intercom.
You sicken me.
Okay, you're being ableist to our dog wrestlers.
Okay, let me say something to you. Maybe each wrestler is assigned a pug. He keeps the pug with him at all times.
Is this going to end up in a Kingsman thing? At the end of it, does he have to send the pug out on its back?
No.
I don't think we should be doing anything weird to the pug.
He is just the escort of the pug, okay? So then if Darby says that the pugs, Bernard and Grebo, are supposed to fight in the ring, then if Bernard is your pug, you pick him up and you make for the ring. I don't think that's crazy.
The fact that off the top, the two pug names you said were Bernard and Grebo.
It is so fucked up that we have no information about this. No one even cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
Useless
I
dirt
just want to
sheets.
say at the end of, fucking do better. Okay? Fucking, is this your job or not? Are you journalists or not? And even if you don't want to be serious journalists, do you care about entertaining people? Because this is a fucking, if I encountered this, I was on my high school newspaper, and honestly, I wasn't very helpful, but I mean, my writing was good, and I did edit a lot of stuff for my teacher who was writing for the Delaware News Journal. So I had an impact on the culture in that sense. But when it came to actually doing anything else, I wasn't really helpful. And in fact, I was a hindrance. But if I had encountered a story like this, immediately, it's just like, yeah, it's front page.
Yeah, it's a gift that's been landed in your lap.
It is a slam dunk human interest story.
Yeah, he got handed for free that Sting's son is sleeping in a tent, and he was like, let's talk about revolution. Fuck you.
If he had written a long, detailed, informational piece on this, I would be signing up for I would be getting past that paywall.
Absolutely.
I've never been tempted to get past their paywall.
Suddenly it would be like, wait a second, do I need to be in there? Is this the kind of stuff you're getting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've had it. It's so do better. Seems like nobody wants to work anymore. Time to fucking do your fucking job. If somebody says something just absolutely wackadoo to you, all you have to do is say, wait, stop.
Wait a second. Explain that. Say more about
this phrase. I have a follow-up question. I have a follow-up question. Okay? So, what else can we say?
Yeah.
Let's move on, I guess.
It's a disgrace.
Just crazy. Okay.